I mean, I think there's a little bit of a different feeling. I think that there's freedom, you know? I think the filmmaker really gets to make the movie that they want to make without so many hands in the pot. And I think for the actors, it's the freedom. There's no one to really please except for yourself and the director. And so, to me, it's a little bit different, yeah.
That's actually a really good way of putting it. There's a lot less cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And you're able to collaborate a little bit more with both your actors and the director. Yeah, that's a good answer. This movie works, in my opinion, because Deon is an audience member.
Right.
Right? So Deon is he kind of directs in that way. Like, I want the audience to do it right here. I want the audience to interact. True. I want them to yell at the screen. He wants that reaction that you got from your screening. And he, will throw out stuff to us in the middle of takes to try and get it. Right. And so it works. That's all I can say is it works. Yeah. The difference between Scott and Annie is Scott's gut is he's not really paying attention. He's just trying to make his wife happy. Right. You know what I mean? But Annie's gut is telling her this is it. Yeah. This is it. Yeah. And while I think she might be right about the house, I think we find out she's wrong about, the owner, the previous owner.
Yeah. Because it's real. Because there's a real possibility that something like that could happen and that people could have that type of psychological breakdown. And I think you have seen stuff like that before. So I think that's the part of it that makes it the scariest is it's not something you're like, could this happen or could this not happen? It's something that could really happen.
Yeah, with no visual effects.
Yeah.
And the home buying experience being kind of at the center of this, I think it makes it tangible. You realize that's me. Right? Like you could look at us and say, that's me. That could be me and my spouse easily. Yeah. Like this could happen. Like this is not some fantasy world. Like this could actually happen when doing something as mundane as buying a house.
Yeah, it is a fun experience, and it's I think it's funny. It's definitely entertaining, and it gets really scary. We haven't had a movie like this in a while where you get someone as iconic as Dennis Quaid, right, playing the villain. And what I love about it is everyone's really isolated in an island, which is the house. And yeah, it is. It's you talk to the screen, you scream and you yell and girl, don't you do that, girl. You better come on out of there now. I would never. And I love it for that reason. I was a really big fan of The Shining and movies like Strangers. So when we went into the film, I really wanted to figure out how do you do exactly that, which is how do you move the camera and take the audience on a wild ride, right, throughout a house. And it's funny because people watch the movie and be like, man, I remember the one part. Then you go, wait a minute, I was in a house. Yeah, and that's what, I think the house becomes a character, and that's what makes it really, really scary. Anytime you can make a movie where from the beginning of the film to the end, people are talking, you've done something really well. And I think the acting, the performances, I think Meagan, Michael Ealy, Dennis Quaid, the three of them together, and Joseph Sikora, all combined in a thriller horror for this day and age is like, it's a slam dunk, So I'm excited about it based on the fact that I think it's a throwback to the original psychological thrillers. I think it's a throwback without all the CGI, and I think you just go there and you're scared. I wrote a letter to Dennis Quaid and asked him would he please come read my script and have a phone call with me. And he took my letter, read it, and gave me a phone call. And from that phone call, we began to make this film. I don't know, man, but I would tell you this. When people see this movie, when they see him deteriorate from the beginning to the end, it is mind-boggling, but that's him. I tell Dennis all the time, he's one of the most iconic actors that we've ever seen. And to have someone of his level and his stature to play a role like this, it's everything. We were really blessed. I'm being honest, really, really blessed to be able to get Dennis and Michael and Meagan in this film, number one. But when you get someone like Dennis Quaid, it just goes, and he's committed. Yeah. I mean, he's not, we made this film independently. And Dennis Quaid is moving lights and helping me set up things and on set, moving cameras. And really? Yeah, when he did every one of his stunts by himself. Michael Ealy did all of his stunts. Megan did all of her stunts. Everyone was working. We wanted to make a cool movie, and we were all vested in the film. And the results is The Intruder.